Hey everybody, Chuck Barone. It is Tuesday, December the 5th, 2023. Not a lot of news today, but a lot of crazy, man. This market's, I guess, today is what the markets give yesterday, they take back today. But before I get started, let me take a second. Welcome everybody to the show. Thank you guys, as always, for your support. Watching these videos and staying with us, it means the world to us, guys. We appreciate you. Okay, so let's talk about these markets today. Not a lot of data coming today. We did get the JOLTS report, which was very favorable to the Fed and what they're trying to do. Nonetheless, markets weirding out, right? You would think the stock market would, yay, rate cuts coming, would jump today. Not really. The Dow actually falling 79 points, landing at 36,124. The NASDAQ rallies up 44 points, 14,229. The S&P down just 2 points, 4,567 on the S&P. So a big nothing burger today, pretty much in the markets. I think the markets were happy with the JOLTS report today. I think now we're going to wait and see. We have big employment data coming tomorrow and Friday. So we'll see what that data shows. If it supports it, I think you could see a pretty nice little rally, stocks popping up the next few days. The bond market today, bonds rallying like crazy, man. It's incredible how quickly the yields have come down. The 10-year falling 12 basis points today, now at 4.17%. This was just right at 5% a very, very short time ago. The 2-year falling 7 basis points, sitting at 4.58%. This was just well over 5%. So now you're seeing these rates just yields, I guess, not rates so much, but yields on treasuries coming down dramatically. I guess maybe these markets are betting right. They've been betting that rates have peaked. They're obviously buying bonds like crazy, feeling like rates are going to be coming down next year. Wow, what a wild and crazy market. This market just unsure of itself. It changes literally day to day. There's a consensus, I guess, but it's a weak one. So you're seeing this market's just whipsaw around going crazy. The dollar today rallies right back up. So go figure, right? So you would think with rate cuts coming, the market pricing in and believing rate cuts coming, you'd think you'd see the dollar falling. Higher rates typically strengthen the dollar. Lower rates weakening it, but nope, dollar rallies back up, almost back above 104 on the index, now sitting at 103.98. And there you have it, man. Mixed numbers, mixed signals, right? Gold and silver continuing their give back. Gold falling another $10.40 today. Still a good strong number, though, at $2,018.70. Silver down 33 cents today, $24.11. So good, strong numbers for gold and silver. I really expect to see silver rally up pretty strong. I think that it's a much easier market to trade and get into, especially for people who aren't trading in big dollars. I certainly expect gold to rally, but I think the big money going to be made in silver. Like I said, just because you can get so much more of it from your money, and it tends not to whipsaw around as much as gold does, but a pretty steady climb, and I think you're going to see a nice pop in silver as this dollar comes down. Oil, 5-month low today, down another 63 cents, $72.41 for a barrel of West Texas Intermediate. We nailed this one, guys. We called this pretty much exactly. Even though the oil market had spiked, I was telling you I didn't really believe it was strong. I didn't believe it was real. It wasn't. Even with OPEC and Russia threatening more oil cuts, oil just continuing to slide. And it's almost down now. It's just where the slide is done, I think. You're going to see it trading again between 70 and 75, where it seems most comfortable. There may be short breakouts above and underneath those numbers, but it's going to find its way back into the pocket where it seems to be most comfortable. Bitcoin today, another big rally, man. $2,002. Bitcoin, $43,814. Threatening $45,000. Likely will make it. You think you're going to see Bitcoin go all the way back up like it was, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000? I got to say, I wish I understood this a little better and understood why this is really rallying right now. The timing seems a little bit odd, but nonetheless, here it is. And for you viewers out there holding Bitcoin, good for you guys, man. A nice rally, a really nice rally. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, we had this JOLTS report today, the job openings, falling to a 32-month low as the labor market continues to settle down. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still 8.7 million job openings here in the U.S., but that's down pretty bigly from last month's 9.3 million. So 600,000 jobs less this month is what the JOLTS is showing. Now, corks are popping at the Fed, man. This is exactly what they wanted to see. Job market starts to slow down. The Fed's, this is their number one target, is this hot jobs market. The Fed believes like these hot jobs fuel increases in wages. Those wage increases fuel further demand, which put pressure on prices to move up. I don't know if this is final, right? We'll see over the next little bit. You know, Thursday we'll get the unemployment numbers. Friday we'll get the non-farm payrolls, also known as how many jobs did we create last month. They're expecting a pretty good number there. So we'll see. I mean, it's, you know, the Fed wanting these jobs to cool off. The power they have is with raising rates, which they have done dramatically. And now it's time to let those rates cause the recession that I've been telling you is going to happen all along. This soft landing, perfect landing, all this is, well, I hope we get it. I really do. It would be great for me personally. I just don't buy it. Maybe because it's never happened, ever, right? Maybe because to get jobs down, you're going to have a recession. To get where the Fed wants to be, you're going to have a recession. There's just no getting around it. Now, the question is going to be, what kind of recession is it going to be? Is it going to be a phantom recession like we had last year? 2 negative quarters of GDP, but no real recession? It's going to be, it's just very, very, very strange times. With this jobs number, this is the lowest amount of job openings that JOLTS has shown since March of 2021. Now we'll get the unemployment numbers, like I said, on Thursday. We'll get the jobs on Friday. If these numbers come in weaker than expected, showing this, supporting this JOLTS, I think you could see a giant rally in the stock market, in the bond market. I think you'll see the dollar come down a little bit as they cement the idea of these rate cuts in. And you cannot believe how they're expecting 125 basis points in rate cuts next year. Is that real? You think that's realistic? So anyway, we'll see. This rest of this week's going to be interesting to see how the markets react to the news as it comes out. Blackrock today coming out, their analysts saying to expect more volatility next year in the stock market as the Fed cuts rates, but cuts them significantly less than markets want. As I was saying, the markets are pricing in 125 basis points in cuts next year. My question is that in addition to the about 75 basis points we've already seen the 10-year come down? Another 125 basis points? That'd be great for real estate. I hope it happens, but I just don't really think it will. I think that, this interest rate optimism thing might be just a little overblown. But then again, I guess maybe someday this perfect scenario where everything goes perfectly, everything goes so predictably, no glitches, no bumps, nothing happening to upset the apple cart, so to speak, and the Fed gets their perfect landing and everybody happy, and I'll be a monkey's uncle if that happens, but we'll see. The Fed does meet next week, guys, so the Fed will be having their open market committee next week. It's going to be a big nothing burger from what is expected. Fed will hold rates steady. I got to admit, I'm really disappointed. I thought there would be another increase coming this year. They didn't do it in September, didn't do it last month, not going to do it this month apparently. I don't believe this inflation thing is beat yet, even though they want to convince us ad nauseum over and over and over and over that it is, I guess they're going to win this PR battle if nothing else, right? So we'll see if Blackrock's right. Their analysts are usually pretty solid. But, you know, expect more volatility. What does that really mean? I mean, crazy times. Finishing up today. Have you guys heard about this big lawsuit in real estate? It was a class action suit. They sued some pretty big real estate companies, including Remax and a couple others, talking about antitrust, price fixing, all about the 6% realtor commission that sellers pay. So this has been a tradition in real estate for as long as I've been doing real estate, since the early 90s. Basically, the way the system sets up is when you're buying real estate, you do not have to pay a realtor fee. You don't. When you're selling real estate, you have to pay your fee as well as the buyers. So typically it goes 6%, 3% for the seller's agent, 3% for the buyer's agent, with the seller having to pay both sides of that, the buyer getting the benefit of not having to pay. And the sellers, of course, having a cow about it, screaming bloody murder that this is unfair, why should they pay, property beat. Of course, not a one of these suing sellers had anything to say about how they didn't pay any real estate fees at all when they bought these houses that they're now selling at massive profits and having to pay real estate agents on. This is going to be a gigantic upset to the industry here. I don't see how buyers are going to be able to pay their own agents. And I think these sellers better be careful what you wish for, sellers. You're going to save yourself some money listing your house, you sure are. But you're not going to get, realtors are in this industry just like every other to make money. If buyers have to pay their own agents, okay, which is, I don't see how that happens. They can barely afford down payments and closing costs now. Now you're going to add on a realtor fee. They're talking about realtors having to work for pay by the hour. Oh my God, that's pretty amazing. Because imagine, a realtor is typically making 3%. So on a $4,000 or a $400,000 transaction, that's a $12,000 commission. I don't know how a realtor goes from making that kind of commission selling a house or helping a buyer buy a house to $20 an hour to try to help a buyer. What's going to end up happening is everybody's going to get a giant haircut. The seller's going to pay 3%. The buyer's agent's going to demand a piece of that 3% from the listing agent, who will probably have to give it up if he wants to sell this house ever. It's just a massive ton of confusion, a massive ton of who the hell knows what's going to happen next, because now there's a million other little lawsuits popping up all over the place. I'm guessing before it's all said and done, we will see the Supreme Court involved. We will see some new laws being made, because the real estate and realtors have one of the biggest lobbies in Washington. They're gigantic. I'm guessing they're in there right now spreading money all over the place. We'll see how this all finishes up, but something detrimental happening in the industry. My realtor friends, they're used to their system there. It's going to really be fascinating to see how it works out. They're saying that this move could lead to 30% of the agents in the industry leaving the industry, and could lead to pay decreases for real estate agents as much as 50% a year loss in income. It's crazy, man. And like I said, these sellers, I understand. If you're selling your house and you got to pay 6%, $24,000, 6% on $400,000, that's a pretty big nut to swallow. But let's not forget, again, when you bought that house, you had the benefit of the person you bought that house from, that seller. You had the benefit of their largesses. They paid your agent for you. It's a custom, right? But of course, there's always going to be that guy who's like, well, I know I got my freebie when I was buying, but I want to get a freebie when I'm selling too. And here we go. Anyway, guys, that's it for the day. We appreciate your support. If you could, please hit the like button. Changes the algorithms around, gets the video in front of a few new faces. we get a few more views that way, we would appreciate it. I will be on later today, hitting you guys up in comments. So hit me up with comments and questions. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll get some data starting to roll in tomorrow. And we'll be here to bring you guys the news you need. Until then, guys, take care. Thanks.